Hello, welcome back to another Theory Thursday. We're doing another restringing video. We've done the hollow body already. Today we're looking at a solid body guitar, one of my Telecasters, which is what we call a through body restring. It has some special tuners on it. It's got locking tuners, so we'll talk about that. It's pretty cool, makes the whole process a lot faster. I love them, can't recommend them enough. So if you've been enjoying these, please like the videos and subscribe and hit that little bell icon for updates and notifications for when new videos drop. Every Tuesday we have new songs, called Tune Tuesday, and Thursdays we have theory concepts and guitar theory videos like today. So, and at the end of every month, we're doing solo guitar performances. So I've had a lot of fun doing that. I got my Mickey Mouse watch on today. And I got my knit brown tie on today. It's a little thinner than I usually like, but I like it. I like the texture and the fabric of it, so I wear it. Anyway, I think that's all I got. So without further ado, let's go restring one of my Telecasters. Okay, today we are restringing one of my Telecasters. This is my Nashville Player Plus. It's got the 3 pickups instead of the regular 2 Tele. And it's going to be similar to most solid body guitars with just a few differences. I'm doing this one because it's very different from the hollow body restring that we did. So, just a few key differences. The saddles and the whole bridge is a totally different setup than the hollow body. As you can see, we have individual saddles here, similar to what we had on the hollow body. You could change them individually, but here you can see each one has its own hole and coming out of the bottom, instead of the trapeze setup that we saw on the hollow body coming from the end pin here. The other thing is the bridge is fixed. It's bolted right onto the body here, unlike the hollow body that was just on top, using the strings tension to keep the bridge down. This is bolted on, so the bridge isn't going anywhere. There's no need for tension on the strings going down on the bridge because it's bolted on. The other difference here is our tuners. So on the hollow body you saw, we had traditional geared tuners where you string the string through, you bend it, you turn it, and you want the wraps to go down the post. What we have here, and I'll put a picture up here, is locking tuners. And these are Fender brand, which is a cool little addition that they added to this Player Plus guitar. So, because it's made in Mexico, it's not an American guitar. So it was a nice little addition that they didn't need to put on there, but they did. I do love this guitar. It's just got things that you wouldn't expect. Like, it's got a push-pull, it's got the 3 pickups, it's got locking tuners. It's just cool. It's just a nice, they really put a lot of work into this design and everything. Anyway, so I get my handy dandy tool here. Unlike the hollow body, I'm just going to take all these strings off at once, because there's no tension needed to keep anything down or anything like that. So, the difference you'll see here is I'm going to unwind this just like that. And that's all I need to do. I'm going to unscrew this peg right on the bottom. Because the way it works is there's the post that's up and down, right? And the string goes through the hole. And what happens is there's a screw that pushes an inside post up, clamping the string in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew that inner post, and it's going to release the string. So right now I can't get this string out. I'm going to loosen this, and all of a sudden this slides right out. So that's what locking tuners do, is there's no need to wrap around and round and round. And so this will be really quick. So it's as easy as that. Now, what you can do is just take all these and slip them right through the bottom of the guitar. I like to clip these ends just because they're a little bent and I don't want them snagging or getting stuck on anything here. So it's just a personal preference. I like to clip the ends of these just so they don't get stuck on anything. But you don't need to. So now what we can do is we can push these strings through. You see they come right up. Pull them out. You don't want to lose these. These will destroy vacuum cleaners. So I just like to wrap them around and then twist them up just like this. Just so that there's no chance that they'll go flying around. But you get one of these in a vacuum cleaner and it's basically done. It's destroyed. So you want to make sure you have all your dead strings and wrap them up. Okay, this is the perfect opportunity to clean your guitar because there's no strings in the way. So it's really easy to get down on this pick guard and on the bridge and all that stuff. You'll see I still have the plastic on this pick guard. I've had this probably almost a year now, but I just haven't decided yet if I'm going to keep it forever or what. So I tend to just keep that kind of stuff on there until it gets unbearable. Then I take it off and it's like brand new again. So why not? So that's that. So today I got these chrome flat wounds. Now usually you wouldn't put these on here. Typically you're going to do your typical round wounds anywhere from 9, 10, or 11s. Depending on what you're playing and what you like. But I'm doing some experimenting. I've done this before, but it wasn't on this Nashville telly, and I liked the sound of this. So I'm going to do some experimenting. So that's what we got going on today. But the general process is going to be exactly the same. So you'll see we get our pack. Whatever pack you get, there's going to be a little diagram showing you what colors or what strings. Now we only have 6 strings here today, so we don't need to worry about 7 and 8. So we see our biggest string is the brass, and our smallest string is the silver. Usually I don't even need that because it's pretty easy to see the differences between the strings. I might just string all of these through right away. So right through the body. That's what's nice about Telecasters. Here's your A string. And Strats, there's a similar thing. You'll have to take off the back plate here. What you'll see is a little device. You'll see some springs, but you'll see a little device that just looks like a hunk of metal. That's what we call the block. Okay, that's the tremolo block. And there'll be 6 holes, and you just put your string straight through there. And the top should look similar. It should be 6 individual saddles that your strings will come out of. Now, sometimes they're a little bit different depending on the guitar, or if you have some weird model that some company was doing, but for the most part it's going to be pretty similar. So most solid body guitars are like this. And this is what we would call a through body guitar, because we're stringing these strings through the body. Pretty simple, right? The other way to do this, and you can't do it on this, but sometimes there's holes on the actual bridge here, and you would string it through here, down, under, and then across, and that's what we would call a top loader. And it just gives you a different sound. I think it produces just a little bit more of a thinner sound. Personally, that's what I think. So I tend not to do it. I do have another telly that has the option to do that, but I just never do it. last two here. Okay, so we did it. The strings are all through the body. You just need to loop them around. And this is where turning the pegs comes in handy. So all of the holes are now lined up with how the strings are going to go in. And this is the really easy part about having a lock-in tuners. Check this out. Because what you do is you take the string, you put it through the hole, you pull it tight, just taut like this. You tighten up the post. I like to bend this up just in case. But that's it. That's all you have to do. Now you're ready to tune. Okay? So there's no wrapping around. There's no worrying about how many wraps you need to get. That's it. So it makes changing strings really quick. It's really quick and really easy. And you can imagine the benefits if you were up on stage doing this. Right? You break a string on stage and you have to change it really quick. This is what you want. This is what you want. These locking tuners. Okay, now when we get to the last two strings here, and you might have it on the G and the D string as well, but what you'll see here is a little piece of metal on the headstock here. Well, it's what we call a string tree. And I'll put up a picture of this a little bit closer, but you want the string to go under that string tree. The reason you need this string tree is because the farther out the tuning peg is, the less of a break angle that this is going to have. So what we need here, and if you remember on the hollow body, the headstock went like this, right? It was tilted down because of the need for a break angle. We need this nut to be the point of contact, because what we're dealing with here is a distance between the nut and the bridge. We can play throughout all this with the frets because of the measured distance between the nut and the bridge. It all has to do with intonation, where the 12th fret has to be generally halfway from the nut and the bridge. Okay? Now what sets this as the point of contact? The break angle. So if I were just to string this and just keep stringing it straight and attach it somewhere here with no break angle, then this doesn't really become a point of contact. This is just something clamping down on the string, and the sound is going to be really thin. It's going to sound almost like a sitar, if you've ever heard that instrument. So that's why we need the string tree, because the farther out here, the farther the peg, the less of a break angle, right? Because it's traveling farther to go down the same distance. So we need this string tree to bring the string down and then over to the peg. So that's the reason for the string tree. So I just tightened these a little bit just to tighten them up a little bit, because what needs to happen is the string needs to stretch out. What you'll notice when you change strings is that it takes a little bit of time for the strings to stretch out. You're going to be tuning a little bit more often than you're used to, because the strings need to become accustomed to being at a certain tension, which they're not right now. So what I like to do, these are locking tuners, which is nice, but I like to keep the ends on until the guitar has settled, until the strings are settled and they're okay being tuned where they need to be tuned. What can happen is if you don't tighten this hard enough, or even if you're wrapping it around, what can happen is you'll be tuning and there'll be some sort of something that happened down here, and it'll give a little bit, and it's what we would call a string slip, where this end is going to slip through the tuning peg just a little bit, enough to throw this off, right? And then you need to tune it again, and by then hopefully it's fine. But not knowing if you're going to have string slip It's a little bit risky to cut these off right now, because if you cut these down to the peg and then start tuning and then your string slips out, well, all of a sudden you don't have enough string to put back through the tuning peg to retighten. You just need a new string at that point. So I like to keep these on just until the strings are accustomed to being at the tightness that it needs to be at. So that's that though. You'll be tuning and tuning and tuning, and then at the time when you get everything sounds the way you want it to, you take your wire cutters and you just clip this as close to the peg as you can. What I like to do after that is then you take the metal and you bend down the Sharpie part, because I like to bend the strings up just so that there's a break, an angle, so that it doesn't want to slip through. But once you cut these, I like to bend them down just because they're so sharp when you cut them. And if you have a guitar case that doesn't have protective fabric up by the headstock, these sharp ends will just destroy the inside of your case. So I like to bend down the little ends of the strings. But that's it. That's all I got for you today. Restringing a Telecaster. And it's going to be the same for any through body guitar. Any through body construction, it's going to be the same type of thing. These are locking tuners, so those are a little bit different. I recommend them. I can't recommend them enough. They just make this whole process go so much quicker, and you don't feel like you're spending all day trying to do it. So, but if you want to see what regular tuners are, or how you do it with regular tuners, you go back and look at the hollow body video. A lot of that won't apply if this is your type of guitar, but the tuners will. Just skip to that part of the video. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. I'll let you know how these flat wound strings turn out, and I'll see you at the next one. Okay.